This could be potentially the last game of the night. Evos SG, they just have to win this one to secure a 2-0 and therefore end the game. However, there is a small little chance over to the side of Nightmare because they do have the Harry, they do have the Angela, the Kugura, and even the Yuzhong and the Benedetta as well to seek to equalize and deliver the upset over to Evos SG. Portal will open soon. Boys and girls, hold into your secret lab chairs and we're hopping into game.
Not gonna lie, the portal is taking its time.
TikTok. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. I'm still waiting for it. We're still waiting for it. TikTok. Ah, there we go. Okay, okay. This is the point of time where I act like a seagull. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this may potentially be the last game that we are about to see for today. I am somehow getting lightheaded because I think I just used up too much oxygen from my body. But regardless, let us just take a look at what we have got in store for game number 2, match number 6, with Evos SG gonna be on the bottom left hand side and Nightmare Esports at the top right hand side, with Grouo facing off against Yuzhong, and at the bottom lane we'll be looking at the Lunox versus against this Harif. But it doesn't seem like things are looking pretty good for Pokemon at all. He has to expend out his Flicker as there is gonna be a very fast invade down to the bottom lane by the Angela as well as Kagura.
Potato getting to play his favorite Isun Shin in this game 2. Nightmare Esports on the other hand seem to be having a way better early game than game 1. That being said, here comes JPL as always to his teammates' rescue. They know that Lunos is gonna get pressured a lot by both Achilles and BZ, who wants the Harif to get online as fast as possible, gets his first item in, and therefore Evos actually has to respond by putting JPL at the bottom. Well, not that it matters because JPL won't come into play until he hits the level 4. That's when the spike of Kaja comes into play with Divine Judgment.
Well, I'm just waiting for the point of time where most of these players hit their level 4, because that is where the real action begins. That's where everything starts to go absolutely haywire. I would really like to see how Evos SG single out the players from Nightmare Esports, because that is literally going to be their MO. We do have JPL, Divine Judgment, Pokemon just gonna go straight in with Darkness and just try to burst down anyone and everyone. But the main question is, how are they supposed to deal with that Busy once he goes online? And that's why they would want to focus a little bit more time and effort down to the bottom lane and ensure that this Harif don't go online too early.
Yeah, Evos actually now taking a little bit of a backseat. Like I said, the spike of the heroes all comes in at level 4 other than Isun Shin. And well, speaking about level 4, here comes Pokemon with his ultimate. The real world manipulation comes in as well, but that's not the spot that they want to be in. Potato lingering nearby just in case things get a little bit too nasty. Nightmare Esports will back off. Now, Turtle is going to be onto the top side, but Evos actually leading by 500 gold. Not the most of Mudgeons, but they're still keeping Nightmare Esports in check.
As now Busy gets going busily by jumping right in with the Zaman Force, trying to force Pokemon into the death row, and that is exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, it is going to be Angela that takes the kill, but it shouldn't be too big of a deal. As long as they're able to shut down Pokemon and leave him behind, just even by a little bit, it is already a good deal to have. Pokemon unleashes the death from the above, except that there's not gonna be any death from the above at all. While Lin, Electrovite Blow, ensuring that it's just gonna be clearing every single wave as much as possible, pretty much suggests that Nightmare would want to shove waves as soon as possible once the outer shields goes down.
It was actually now making sure that the side lanes get pushed up. Just been forced to use the Black Dragon form just to get out of trouble. And knowing that Yutong doesn't have his ultimate should signify that Evos actually will be looking for a team fight, and why shouldn't they? Look at that, 4 members now heading towards the turtle pit, 10 more seconds before it comes back up. Soul's already doing a good job at zoning away both the killers as well as Lynx. He's just going to use that parasite coming in effect. JPL joining as well. He does have the Divine Judgment, he's not going to use it just yet. And here comes Potato coming in from the back line. Doesn't have multi-shocker, but he doesn't even need it. Look at that, the Ring of Punishment will come up. Real world manipulation does bring Jasmine down. And 3 members out of play from Nightmare Esports. Evos SG is going to have a very good time taking this turtle.
Really good backup coming from the side of Evos SG. It's like backup upon backup upon backup. But we're just going to be talking about that in a while later, as it does seem like Nightmare Esports managed to push Evos SG away simply from the dual deadly combination from Hard Guard as well as the Zaman Force. But that's all that Nightmare Esports could do, pushing Evos SG away. They know that they gotta have to disengage because there's really no point in fighting against BZ with the Zaman Force, also with the Hard Guard onto him. So it is wise. Run away and then restart the turtle again, except for the fact that the turtle was already very much damaged and did not deal a significant amount back.
Now Nightmare Esports did not manage to pull a hard reset onto the turtle, but look at this. Immediate reaction coming up from Evos SG. They know that Lunox is having a bit of a problem down on the bot lane, and that's why they kind of swapped, right? They want this Lunox to farm as peaceful as possible, while Evos SG siege the first tier tower in the bot lane, which Nightmare Esports unfortunately cannot defend. Now, look at top. Oh my goodness, you can sense the tension there. Whoever pops up in lane first gets absolutely decimated. So, just waiting for the right time. And Evos actually, they're like, we don't mind. We can wait as well. We have a Kaja that doesn't need farm. We have a Lunox that can just wait. And I think if Kagura leaves this lane, that is a dead Harif.
And we're just looking at... there we go. The Divine Judgment is just going to be pushed down right onto BZ. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, it does seem like Evos SG's, well, effort and, of course, patience in the end managed to help them secure a kill onto BZ. Well, it's very unfortunate for BZ, you know, because Soul has pretty much been on the top lane for the longest time ever and feels like, hey, I don't see anyone. You are free to farm. Only to realize that, hey, there's actually 2 people hiding inside the brushes. That might actually stir a little bit coming from the side of that Harif. But in the meantime, we're also going to be looking at Jasmine and just go all out aggressive, getting himself into the Blood Serpent form. Soul just going to be finding himself on the death row. Or not death row? Maybe not! With just a sliver of health, it does seem like the shower residue was not enough of a sapping tool to bring him down to the ground. As Evos SG, well, they are really getting themselves together for this one, and I dare say a little bit of a luck coming from the side of Soul. But all in all, 7-2, we do have Evos SG securing the second turtle.
Nightmare Esports, well, this was their plan B, but it doesn't look like it's enough at this point in the game. The Yutongs kinda hasn't really reached its peak. You know, Battle Data not finding its form yet. Lynx having a little bit of a problem and trying to pick off the backline. Well, what backline is there when Evos SG is running at you? Remember, Soul bought so much time and space, and look at that. The burst damage coming out from both Pokemon as well as JPL on both of the Lunox and the Kaja respectively.
Evos SG pretty much conditioned Nightmare Esports to never face check bush from now on. Believe me, I don't think that Nightmare Esports is going to face check bushes anymore, because that is exactly what JPL has been doing to the side of Nightmare Esports twice in a row. Once on BZ and once on Jasmine. And because of that conditioning, it's going to make Nightmare Esports fear for the brushes and fear to even enter any side of the lanes except for their turret's range.
Now the single target burst damage coming from Lunox is so much, right? You combine that with JPL's Divine Judgment, that is a for sure 100% pick off.
Disaster.
And this just gives so much space for Potato to farm. And look at how fat the Eaports is. 3-0 and 3, they're knocking on the tier 2s off the turret, which no longer is there because Evos actually just aggressive like that. Talking about aggressive, the Soul now trying to dive on the backline, just use the Parasite just to heal up that damage that he took. He probably won't get this tier 2 onto the top side, but he will do whatever he can to delay Nightmare Esports from rotating away from the top half of the map.
kind of freezing the waves just by a little bit, ensuring that their own creep waves is able to push right into the top lane. A little bit of a split push, not something that I was expecting from the side of Grouo, but they are just forcing a lot of rotations onto the side of Nightmare Esports, because Nightmare Esports, they are forced to defend, and this is pretty much the time where Evos SG would definitely want to go for the engagement with that nice flicker from the side of JPL. It's completely just isolating Ling, and that Benedetta don't even have a chance to get himself away with Electro, nor be able to get himself with the Sword Out Slashes. So that was a fine prioritization. Evos SG now have got a really good grasp of the opponent's jungle. Nightmare Esports, unfortunately, with their back against the wall, they can only stay under the turret's nose.
Yeah, JPL now bringing on board the Kaja Airlines. Like, come on. I'm gonna take you for a ride. And that's what he's doing in the first game as a crew fund. Now he's doing it the same as a Kaja, babysitting that Lunox, making sure that Pokemon not only has a good early game phase, but now transiting into a very deadly combo that can definitely pick off one of the core members of Nightmare Esports for sure.
When Nightmare Esports, what can they do? You can only stay in the turret's range, and sometimes the turret's range would not help them, because JPL's engagement with that flicker as well as that Divine Judgment is just way too scary. In fact, I'm actually quite surprised that Nightmare Esports would dare show their faces in their own jungle trying to take their own purple buff, but it doesn't seem to be that way, because they know that they know that Evos SG is trying to steal the purple buff away.
Oh
they
my
would
God.
rather take this lot for themselves. Oh, what the heck has happened? It does seem like Lin immediately just bursted down to the ground, committed arson coming in from the side of Evos SG. And not to forget, Soul is just going to be popping off into Jello mode and is still surviving and also regenerating a massive amount of health. Soul's HP down low, Pokemon takes one. Jasmine is probably going to be the next one. Pokemon goes down right under the core's unfortunate range. And now Potato, Soul, and Girl, they are still ready to mount a comeback. They get the kill right on top of Jasmine, with the last man remaining is going to be BZ. He goes down. Achilles is going to be unfortunately popped out of the body of BZ after his death. And Lin, being the last man remaining, pops up the Electro Final Blow to try to destroy every single one of those ballistas with great succession. JPL unfortunately would not be able to bring the core down. Evos SG should know that this is time to run away, as they just do not have enough damage to bring down the core unless they manage to get the kill down onto both JPL and Lin. Girl, understanding that most of the players from Nightmare Esports has already resurrected, it is time to build.
Evos actually a long extended fight, finding themselves 3 tier 3 turrets with the Lord's help, and on top of that, nearly ending the game. Now Nightmare Esports, they bought themselves a bit of comeback with getting the kill onto JPL, but now with Evos Ashley's full entire lineup healthy and alive, it's back to business. They gotta find pickoffs using that Kaja and Lunox combo, and now they just bravely walk into the blue buff. They could take it right under Nightmare Esports' nose, and there's nothing that Allows team can do.
Nightmare Esports, unfortunately, I don't see any combat mechanics coming in from their side. They don't have a marksman that can be sniping the enemies from a far range. Yes, they can rely on Lin's utility onto the side of Electro Final Blow to slow the enemies down and kind of zone the opponents away. Of course, we have BZ with a massive amount of damage, but of course that is damage over time. Every time he dashes, he will be able to deal decent amount of damage onto enemies. But prioritization is definitely one of the tough issues for the side of Nightmare Esports. They don't have a way to shut down an enemy, to single them out, or perhaps to even lock them down, as they are more about brute force damage kind of thing.
Yeah, in some sense, right? You have the Yutong, but I think they're playing the sustain game, right? You have the Seraph, you have the Yutong, they're really good at sustaining a fight. The issue is, sustain gets countered by burst damage, and that's what Evos Ashes drops about. And now JPL onto the top side, gets the Divine Judgment onto BZ. The real world manipulation will pick up the first kill right onto the Harif. Without BZ, they don't have the sustain, but they don't need that now. Bound to the backline, Potato comes in, gets a kill right onto Achilles. They get a second one to Jasmine as well. Lynx, oh, he's staying very hidden, but JPL already making its way into the base alongside So. Go is there as well. It's just going to zone that off, and I guess this is pretty much GG. Nightmare Esports, they put up such a tough fight, but unfortunately, there's just too much in the way between them and Evos SG.